Hello everyone, Ebba here. You'll be seeing this on Wednesday, but sorry there's not going to be a crafting video on Wednesday. This is the same day that I did the other one. This is Monday. And I was all excited and I was printing and getting ready to do the crafting, and the printer broke. Yeah. So we had yeah, you might be able to see my fingers are a little bit inky. We had blue ink all over the counter on some other things, all over the big printer. Yeah, mess. But Gary took it apart in his past life, you know, like our other lives. He at one point was a printer repair person. So he has an idea of what he's looking at when he takes them apart and looks at them. And he discovered that, pardon me, we need new heads. And it's probably due to the fact that the printer froze, you know, during the winter. I mean, we didn't have a way of stopping it from happening. We were freezing, so, you know, printer's not in good condition then. It wasn't the ink, because it didn't really, you know, it was working fine. And we've been printing. It's not like we haven't been printing things. And we have had to print a few things, but now we can't print anything because, yeah, I don't know. It just started. It wasn't printing properly. It wasn't printing yellow properly, and there was a lot of pink and everything, and blue. But there wasn't a lot of yellow, so it wasn't mixing right. So when I was, you know, printing things, it wasn't printing how it was supposed to be. And so I did Gary did a clean on the head. He cleaned it. And that made it okay for one print. But then when I printed again, and I printed like 3 pages, the first page was semi-okay. The next 2 weren't. They were just different colors. You know, mostly, one was mostly pink and the other was mostly blue. Definitely something going on there. So I went over, I don't know a lot about the printers, but I did a deep clean on the head because, you know, it's pretty easy. Push the buttons in. Anyway, I did a deep clean on the heads and all the colors disappeared except blue. That was the only, no, magenta, sorry, except the magenta. Everything else was gone, you know, and black. Black was fine. The magenta just, it was the only thing sitting there. So I thought, well, that's crazy. So it asks you questions, you know, does it look like A or B kind of thing, and you pick yes or no. And A is a good print, and B is, there's something wrong with it. So I picked B. It said, I'll clean the heads again. So I cleaned the heads, and still nothing, and still nothing. And then I decided, well, okay, I've done this like 3 times. I better wait. And Gary was out, he was doing other things. He's been working outside, trying to fix a couple of things on the motorhome. You know, make it better. And I called out to him, but he wasn't there. He was actually had kind of gone for a little bit of a walk, which I don't blame him. I mean, you got to take breaks when you're working. Anyway, so he went, he came in, and I told him what was going on. He had a look at the sheets I printed. And he did a couple of prints and a couple of cleans, and all of a sudden there was blue ink everywhere. And it just went started. He said, I think it might have a leak. I mean, you know, one of the hoses maybe broke or cracked or something. So he went and he finished what he was doing because there wasn't much he could do. He cleaned up as good as he could. And then I went over later on and cleaned it up, you know, kind of washed it all up. The one thing nice about ink is, although it will dye your fingers because there's a dye in there, it is water-based. So you basically take something and water, and it'll clean it off of surfaces, especially shiny surfaces. Now, if it's a surface that has absorption to it. And then it will absorb into it like paper and things. But it won't, and that's the thing with your fingers, is the dye goes into your fingers, right? Because you've got absorption. But it won't absorb into something that's more of a shiny surface. So where the printer is sitting, we had actually raised it up a little bit, because where it sits when we travel, it's sitting behind a little rail. And in order for me to use the drawer, I had to raise it. So I got one of my 12 by 12 boxes of paper and just stuck it under there. And so the 12 by 12 box of paper got ink all over it. So, but it's plastic, and the paper inside didn't get any. So it was good. You know, it's good that way. But it was quite a mess to clean up, and Gary was coming. So we both look a little bit like Smurfs. Anyway, so we have to order a new printer head, which Gary will do later on. And but it's not going to be here for a couple of weeks. All of the ones on Amazon. I couldn't find one that was actually shipped by Amazon. So we may have to get one that's not shipped by them. I don't like buying that way. And the reason I don't like buying that way is because if you get it and there's got something wrong with it, you don't have Amazon backing. You know, you can complain to the guy who shipped it to you all you want to, but if they don't actually do much, I mean, sure, they get a black mark against them, but you know, a lot of guys have lots of black marks against them. They're still making tons of money selling and selling crap, basically. But you know, people buy it because I want that particular thing. And I've had experience with that with Amazon. I've bought on Amazon for years. And I've had experience like that. And eventually I just went to, I just want to buy it if it's shipped by Amazon. I don't care if it's Amazon sold, because it can be sold by somebody else, doesn't matter. But if Amazon is shipping it, it means that you get the shipping, you get that back. So if something is wrong with it, you contact Amazon and you say, there's something wrong with this. They say ship it back. And they just, give you your money back as soon as you take it to the post office. They will give you a label. You get the return shipping usually, and they give you a label to print off, and you put it onto the package on the outside. Take it to the post office, drop it off. And I mean, I've returned things because they didn't fit, or they were, you know, something that didn't look the same as it was. Because you never know who's selling what on Amazon. But, you know, if it looks like something you'd like, and then you pay the money and you get it. At least if it's shipped by Amazon, you get that package. A lot of people will say, oh, you know, we back our product and free return shipping. And then they turn around and they rip you off. Oh, you don't live in our country, so therefore it's not free. Or they'll do something like that. And we have a lot, in Canada, we have a lot of, we're going to charge you extra. And they call it what the heck do they call it? It's not called customs or excise tax. It's called something else. And it's the deposit. But you never get it back. It's just something they charge you. And it's extra on shipping. And I try and avoid that too. You know, I mean, when you're shopping online, you got to be a little bit smart. And find places that, even if it's a place like Amazon where you have thousands of people putting stuff up there for sale and all the rest of it, and from all over the world, it's okay. I mean, just if you watch for things like shipped by Amazon and get that as often as you can, at least you have that package. And I mean, I've never had Amazon fail me. They have always, as soon as I get it and drop it at the post office, that day or the next day, I get a message that says, your refund is on the way. It's this many days. It's usually 3 to 5 days, business days. And it'll be back onto your credit card or into your bank or, you know, whatever. And so they're awesome that way. But this time I didn't see any. Now when Gary goes in, he can check around. He'll have the right number and everything to be able to check around and see if there's any that he finds. Because, you know, sometimes you go in there and you do a search, and then somebody else does exactly the same search, they get different stuff from you. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Anyway, so he may get, these shipped by Amazon type of thing. The ones that are shipped by Amazon are often cheaper as well, but not necessarily. So, yeah, I mean, you can go into, like, Amazon's got warehouse deals and all kinds of things like that you can find deals on, and that kind of thing. Anyway, so after all that blabbing, we're not going to have a printer for a while, which means that I can't actually print the second part of the thing. Now what I'm going to do, because I just thought of it, because I did print off the first part, and I have enough that I can use it for making the first part. And what the first part is, I'll explain it right now. What the first part is a box. It's a box that a journal will fit into, and it's quite a big box. Just hang on and I'll just try and show you. It's quite a big box, as you can see there. Sorry, I'm trying to peek around to make sure that I'm, so you can see it. You can see it almost takes up the whole page. Now, when you take half page, let's just let me find one that is a half page. Okay. So if you can see, you can see that if I fold this page in half, like this, I don't actually want to do that because I want to use it for cutting. But if I fold it in half and I put it in the box, the box is quite a bit bigger. And that's okay, because then you can put other things into it, or your journal can grow. It can be quite big. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now with this whole thing. But I can cut the box out, and I can make the box with you. So what I'm going to do is, because tomorrow we're traveling again, we got to go into Calgary, and then we got to go shopping. We got to go to the casino and sit there overnight. Then the next day we got doctor's appointments pretty much all day. So it's going to be a busy day, and that's when you'll see this video. So after that, I'm not sure where we're going to be, because we've talked about possibly coming back down here, possibly staying at the casino in Calgary, where we can be for a few days and not have to be traveling around. Because the trouble with staying at some of the truck stops, you can go there for a day or whatever overnight, and then you have to leave for so many hours, then you can go back there, and it's just not good for if you're trying to do stuff. So we'll see where we are. We may stay in the city, or we may come back out here, because coming back out here is a lot of money, fuel wise, because it's clean across the city and then south, and it's a bit south. I mean, it's not hugely miles, but it's a lot of money. So, and Gary does want to do some stuff in the city, so I think we'll probably be staying at the casino, at least for a few days. When I'm there, I'll get Gary to set up the overhead camera, and I will make the box, and that way, we've done a thing, and I've got to play with what I've got sitting over there, because I'm really looking forward to making this. I haven't crafted for a year, and it's just been ridiculous. I mean, I know I've tried a few times, and I made a few things, but it's I really haven't been able to craft and do what I like to do. So we're going to do that. I think that would be a good idea. I'll wait until after the Wednesday. We'll figure out where we're going to be, and then we'll be sort of set up, and I can craft and do some stuff. So anyways, that's the situation. It never, nothing ever goes smooth for us. So, as any of you that have been watching our videos know, or at least should have figured out by now, nothing goes smooth. I mean, even Gary's been trying to print a little thing for me for days, and what it is, it's a can holder, It holds like cans like this, and it's got a handle on it. It's really nice, and it has to have dragon scales on it. So he is trying to make me one, and he hasn't been able to. Every time he goes to make it, this is cute, isn't it? This is his. Yeah, mine's gonna be orange, really bright orange. But he basically has only a limited number of colors. He knows that if he had pink, it would be pink for me. Anyway, yeah, so you can see that it's got scales. I think you can see them. See the scales on there. And it's just it feels nice in your hand. It's got a little tip on it that you can put your thumb on. You've got good balance that way with it. And it's just a nice way of drinking a pop. Other people use it for beer and things like that. We drink pop, that's what we drink. Pop, coffee, tea, that sort of thing, that's us. But yeah, it's got a hole in the bottom, a little. So yeah, it's got a hole in the bottom, and when you finish your pop, you can push that and get the can out and so it's a really nice design, and but he's been trying, and today he was printing it, and it got quite high, but you can't sort of just stop and then start again, because it cools down, and then the plastic, because it's a type of plastic thing, the plastic won't stick to itself again. So it can't just continue doing the thing if you have to shut it off. And he had to shut it off. It was just because we had the printer problem, and he needed the extension of the printer that his 3D printer was using to try and do something with the printer. And it just, so he was forced to stop it and unplug it. It takes several hours for this. How many hours is this one? 8 hours. About 8 hours for this to print. So you need to be sitting someplace. So we'll have to wait now. It's after 3:30. I think I'm going to have to wait for my mug or my can holder until we get to the casino, and after we've seen the doctors and all the rest. He can run that at the same time as I'm doing, printing and doing things. That's not a problem. But yeah. So anyway, I am gonna stop now. I've been over 15 minutes. I meant this to be like a 5-minute video. So sorry about that. But yeah. So we'll get that from Amazon at some point. We have to send it. There's a Staples in the north end, in the east side of the city, and we have to send it there. So we'll have to drive across the city to get it, and then, So maybe when we're out seeing the doctor, we'll do that. And drive over. It'll depend. It'll depend on, no, we won't be able to, because we'll be seeing the doctor on the day. It's not supposed to be here till after the 15th. We'll see. Anyway, so you guys take care of yourselves. I'm really sorry about this. I always seem to be apologizing these days for stuff happening, and I don't know. I'm getting a little exhausted from this stuff, and I really wish I could just have some smooth sailing for about the next 25 years. Yeah, that'd be nice. But Murphy just doesn't want to go away. He apparently loves me, or he loves making trouble for me. Anyway, yeah, so I will say goodbye to you now, and we'll see you when I can. After, hopefully by Friday, I'll be able to start showing you. I can do some cutting out now that I've kind of showed you some of it. I did want to show you, but I need to have the overhead and everything. I did want to show you the box before it was cut, talk about what I was going to do with it. So maybe I'll try and make that for Friday, and then I can do cutting out before Monday, and then gluing and everything over the weekend. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll do the video before Friday. If I can do it on Thursday, that'd be great. Do the video with an overhead to show you what I'm going to be doing. Because there's kind of a lot involved with what I'm going to be doing. Even though it's a really simple project. Never be simple. Anyway, so you take care of yourselves. And I will talk to you when I can. Friday, hopefully. Bye for now.